For my final project, I've decided to analyze my peers in LSU's cheerleading program, specifically the impact that cheerleading makes on everyday performances, daily rituals, and social scripts with those involved. I wanted to explore some of the changes in norms and social scripts in everyday performance when someone was involved with cheerleading. I believe that cheerleading was the perfect social ecosystem for this, since it is a co-ed program and involves several kinds of performances discussed in one of our first reading assignments, What is Performance? I believe that cheerleading parallels performances in everyday life, in the theatrical arts, in sports, and sometimes in rituals. I personally knew there was a big change, like specifically for men, when it came to participating in a female-dominated sport. Uh, Social scripts seemed to change, but I wanted to get some external perspectives. So I invited some of my teammates over, and we recorded a group discussion after several months of me passively observing my peers. I asked if I could interview some of them about their take on performances in everyday life, daily rituals, social scripts, and the effects that their involvement with the program had on these things. I interviewed my teammates Sam and MC, one being a male relatively new to cheerleading and the social change that followed that, and the other being a female who had a good bit of experience with cheerleading under her belt already. Sam was a valuable resource of information when it came to inspecting the contrast that came with being involved in cheerleading, and MC was especially helpful when it came to supporting our observations and helping try to eliminate a gender bias. We discussed how our routines being surrounded by the opposite sex affected our social scripts and norms when interacting with those people. We talked about the visual divide between genders during some of our performance events on like the sideline, and how this wasn't really present during our private practices, considering that during these sideline events we wear different uniforms, men wearing pants, women wearing skirts, that sort of thing. But in practice, we all wear the same uniform. We also discussed how this affected us as students. It is a huge commitment for time and energy, and it can be demanding and unforgiving. And Sam briefly talked about how being part of a team that depended on him gave him more of an initiative to be a student. One thing that our coaches instill in our minds from day one is that we are ambassadors for the university. We are reminded that everything we do representing LSU. It turns the little things that seem like personal rituals into a performance on behalf of LSU. Like, we are the actors for the university. Everything is our stage, essentially, considering the fact that like things as menial as getting a cup of coffee while wearing your cheerleading hoodie contribute to the program's image, which to some is one of the most important things about the program. And this can be complicated at times, and some seem to endorse autonomy so that the image may be preserved. My peers and I discussed how this kind of takes away from our individualism and the distress that can come with that. But during my informal interview, Sam brought up how he is treated differently now that he is associated with cheerleading. He went into detail about how the program altered the way he approaches social interaction, and how it literally changed his whole approach to his social scripts when interacting with other people. We also discussed how, and we all kind of agreed that practicing so often became a twice behaved behavior, and how it kind of like really everyone's on the same ritual, everyone's on the same routine. But my goal is to give insight about cheerleading and college athletes to those who may lack understanding about such a thing. It's a huge part of my identity, and I hold this program very close to the breast.